room of the day. Now we're going to be going through grand pianos with Matt, our showroom manager here at Cambridge.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Saoirse. I'm very excited to be able to show you our luxury end of grand pianos here at Miller's. We're incredibly privileged here to be able to house these instruments, and it's an absolute pleasure to be able to give you an overview of what these pianos have to offer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you essentially our Hofmann range and our Bechstein range. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Hofmann V158 we have in the showroom over here. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history and the piano itself and what makes it so special. And then we'll kind of glide through and we'll end up at the nicest piano we have here at Miller's, which is going to be a privilege to show you. So Hofmann are a Czech piano manufacturer. They manufacture their pianos in a beautiful little town called Hradec Králové, where you also have the Petrov factory, and it's a very centralized town in terms of the piano making expertise. We're incredibly lucky here at Miller's as the staff because we get to go to the factories, meet the workers and see how these pianos are assembled, which gives us a really interesting insight into how these are put together and the quality control and the attention to detail that goes into producing these instruments. So Hofmann are a subsidiary brand of C. Bechstein, and the C. Bechstein factory is located around a 2-hour drive away in another town called Sievenesdorf. So they share lots of expertise and components, but they also share as well a sort of tonal aesthetic which can be described as warm, rich, with a very nice sense of clarity and lots of overtones. The Hofmann pianos being manufactured in Czech Republic does mean that they can afford to build the instruments to a slightly more favourable price. So they're a great gateway product into a really beautiful European sounding instrument without quite the price tag that you would find with a German-made Bechstein. So with the Hofmann, like the Bechstein, you're going to have Austrian spruce keys. You're also going to have Bechstein crafted hammers, and something that's very unique to Bechstein is that they craft their hammers internally, and the reason they do this again is this pursuit of perfection with their pianos. So inside this Hofmann here you'll find that they have their maple core C. Bechstein crafted hammers, and the soundboard in this one is a climate resistant soundboard that's resourced specially for these instruments. And the strings have a 95% purity of copper and brass. I'm just going to play a small piece on each of these, which will be the same piece, which should hopefully give you some form of concept on what the differences are and what each piano has to offer in terms of its colour and its tone. So you can hear there, the really beautiful thing consistently through all these instruments is that quality in the bass tone, just that lovely depth, rich and warmth in there. So moving on, when you kind of go through the Hofmann range, you'll find that the pianos generally tend to scale up in size, and with that, as the pianos increase in length, you're getting some improvements in some very key areas. So the key length improves, which helps improve the sense of control of the instrument. The string length gets longer, which gives you a deeper, richer, more colourful instrument, especially in the bass. And the last thing is the soundboard surface area increases as well, which really helps open up the dynamics of the instrument to allow you to be more expressive. And with Hofmann, you've got the Vision range, the Tradition range, and the Professional range, and they're all on our website, and would absolutely encourage you to have a look at those as well if you are interested in the Hofmann range. Moving over, we have the Bechstein Academy 190. So the Academy series is the entry-level grand pianos where it starts for Bechstein. Their line is divided into two. You have Academy and Concert. The Academy pianos take some big notable steps up in quality from our Vision over here. So for example, where we had those really lovely C. Bechstein crafted maple core hammers, over here we have mahogany core. And how that benefits the piano is mahogany is a much denser form of wood. So the strike on the string is much cleaner. Also, a lovely detail about the hammers, and when we were in the factory, we were not allowed to see it. It's very private, but Bechstein have developed their own glue, especially for hammers, so they're not stapled, which is something that's very unique to those hammers. Another sort of key detail about that way that is put together, when we were visiting the factory, one of the things that really interested me was there were these rooms where technicians were essentially dropping the hammer shanks onto tables. And when I inquired as to why they were doing that, essentially what they were doing was listening for the tonal quality of the hammer pins striking the table and then ordering it in register. And when we asked, you know, why do we do that? How much difference does that make to the piano? The answer was very, very little. And the reason they do it is because of that quest for perfection. So that's what you're getting in these premium instruments. Other notable features as well. My favourite key detail about these pianos is the soundboard, which is resourced from a company named Teresa, and they grow the spruce exclusively for these instruments in the Italian Alps, in a sweet spot where the seasons are pretty much non-existent, and that ensures the rings on the trees grow very, very evenly, so you get the highest quality spruce. For this instrument here, it's resourced from 800 feet above sea level, and a lovely little detail is the wood for the Stradivarius violins was resourced from the same place. Again, I'll play the same tune, and hopefully you'll pick up on some of those differences. So, as mentioned before, this is a longer piano, so you're seeing all those improvements in all those key areas in terms of sound, dynamics, colour and control. So hopefully you can hear the bass, the quality, the depth, the colour, the overtones just increases tenfold when you move into this bigger instrument with that more premium selection of materials. And lastly, my favourite piano, the B212. We are incredibly lucky to have this at Miller's, and if you ever come and visit us, I would encourage you to have a play on it. Because it is an experience you will never forget if you've never had a go on an instrument like this before. What makes this so special is this instrument takes at least 18 months minimum to build. The craftsmanship and the dedication is exceptional, and everything down to the last detail was considered. For example, where the soundboard from Teresa was 800 feet above sea level on this one, it's 1,000 feet above sea level for this one. The strings on this one, where this one's got a 98% purity, this is 99% purity. And it's some of those differences there where they're just going that extra mile. The other really lovely feature again is the gold standard for most piano manufacturers is to have mahogany core hammers like you find in the Academy. But with the Concert, it's a walnut core hammer. So again, a much denser form of wood, a much more premium selection of materials. Again, the size is scaling up, so again, once again, we're seeing all those improvements move up again. So I'm going to play the same little jingle. That bass register is absolutely phenomenal. And that's what makes this instrument so particularly special. I always like to play this one and always kind of like to have that feeling like I'm a professional myself. It really gives you that sense of feeling. So yeah, and I think that rounds up everything for the pianos today. So I just want to thank everyone who's watched very much for watching. If you have any questions or anything at all, I would encourage you to reach out to us. It'd be great to have a chat, any questions you have at all. We're going to be moving over to a live panel, so if you do have anything you want to send to us, please do. And look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much.